There's giant spoilers. Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and welcome back to Universal Theory. So, the theory today is just a small one on the nature of Alexandrite and whatever the fusion is between Alexandrite and Steven/Rose. So, we've seen Alexandrite in fusion cuisine, and that's the only time outside of, video game appearances. And in that one example, she wasn't very unified, nor did she have any sort of particular character traits or personality. She just seemed like you jammed 4 gems together and that's about it. In fact, more so than any other gem in the series, you see Alexandrite's parts talking to each other. You can pretty much tell when it's Pearl, when it's Amethyst, and when it's Ruby/Sapphire. You can tell that. This has been done a little bit with other gems, but Alexandrite pretty much exclusively contradicts herself. She does not seem like a very stable, solid fusion. So why is this? Well, it's probably for a few reasons. First of all, the gems that make her are all very not contradictory to each other per se, but it just kind of seems like there's too many cooks in the kitchen in this sort of case. You got Pearl, who's on one end, and then Ruby and Sapphire, who are opposites, but they stick together, and then Amethyst, who's on another end, and it just doesn't seem like a good balance. It seems almost as if it's missing something. Yeah, the reason why Alexandrite is the way she is because she needs a leader and unifier in the fusion. This would be Rose or Steven. Think about it. It makes perfect sense that what Alexandrite is missing is a clear force to show the way. When it's a fusion between 2 gems, it makes sense that they're kind of balanced out. Even when it's a fusion between 3 gems and 2 of those are Ruby and Sapphire, those 2 tend to stick together, so it's almost like it is 2 gems fusing. But with Alexandrite, it's just a total mess. It needs Steven or Rose to really be a complete machine that comes together into one cohesive piece. It feels more like just a blob of different personality traits kind of just contradicting each other and fighting. It also makes sense that Alexandrite would be a bit rusty, considering if they were going to fuse 4 of them together, you would think they would fuse Rose as well. I would assume anytime they're going to fuse that many members of the team together, it'd be all of them. So it probably has been a very long time that they've formed Alexandrite, if ever. Because Rose's death was only, well, at least, only maximum of maybe 10, 12 years ago. Steven could only be a maximum of, I would say, 12. So they probably haven't formed Alexandrite in that time, and I would assume they haven't formed it before then, or if so, very rarely. Especially considering how much trouble Pearl and Amethyst had fusing together in Giant Woman, or just didn't want to. You would assume it wouldn't happen very often, at least not without Rose there to be there. So that's just kind of a little theory on why Alexandrite is the way she is versus a lot of the other fusions that have very clear personalities that, gel together a bit better. Outside of Malachite, of course, but she's a different fusion that was formed out of hatred, and, even, honestly, Malachite seems to be holding better than Alexandrite did in the long run, considering that she's still fused together when Alexandrite couldn't hold it together for one dinner. So there's just a cool little insight into that character and what I think is the purpose of it, and why it is the way it is, and what narrative purpose would it be to make that fusion be the way it is. That it shows that Rose is missing, and that Steven really needs to step up and form that fusion. And whenever that happens, it will be pretty awesome. If it ever happens. But it probably will. PIEGUYRULZ, out.